Graduating students elect the valedictorian to give the closing speech on behalf of the entire graduating class. It is indeed an honor to be selected by your peers to perform this time-honored tradition. This year, the grad class honored and selected Rita Steele as the valedictorian. Rita has been an outstanding student at King George, excelling in academics and community service. At this time, I would like to ask Rita Steele to come forward as valedictorian and address her classmates, the class of 2013.
Hello, everyone. Hey. Really glad I finally got this hat to stay on my head. Thank you, Jess. So, good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to say how grateful I am to be up here. It really is an honor, and it's been a dream of mine to actually be valedictorian, so it's pretty awesome for me. But it's also an amazing day for everyone else. So, to the parents, teachers, family, and friends in the audience today, welcome to our celebration. And to the class of 2013, we are graduating. Yeah. 5 years ago, we were in the same place that we are now. We were on stage, graduating elementary school, and forced to say goodbye to our school and to our friends. And on top of that, the prospect of high school was this big, looming unknown that we had only ever heard rumors about. 5 years ago, we were taunted by the fear of being stuffed in a locker, forgetting our pencils on a test day, and being forced to run 100 laps in gym class. We watched movies like Mean Girls and wondered what would happen if we couldn't find a seat in the cafeteria. But soon we discovered that at King George, the lockers are too narrow for our backpacks, let alone us. Forgetting a pencil is no big deal when someone sitting in the front row has 12. Gym class is just as fun as recess, and no one eats in the cafeteria anyway. So, we're exactly where we were before. Graduating high school, forced to say goodbye, facing that big, looming unknown. But this time it's not being shoved in a locker or forgetting a pencil that scares us. We begun to question ourselves. This time around, we fear being shoved into a job we hate if we can't figure out what we want. We fear that our goals aren't definite, or are too unrealistic, or that our plans will fail, or that we don't have any plans at all. We fear the ambiguity of the real world and our own uncertainty. And in all the confusion of everyone telling us who we need to be and how we need to be it, we are just freaked out because we don't even know who we are. Now, I have always been the kind of person who thought that I had to know exactly what's coming next. I was always waiting and ready for the next thing I knew was coming for me. Then, one day this year, I woke up and suddenly my vision for my future had changed. I went from thinking that I know everything, to realizing that, really, I know almost nothing. And that's a scary thought for anyone. Fears like this can easily compel us to take a safer road, avoid failing. But these same fears can drive us and motivate us to be better. Fear of not doing can prompt us to act. And fear of not achieving can help us accomplish our greatest goals. I'm starting to learn that we can't take the uncertainty of our futures as something to overcome. but instead as an opportunity to be and do anything. And as we were thinking about the future, it's important to remember that success is not going to be defined by an impressive resume or by a lifestyle that others want for you. Your personal success will be defined when you feel that you are exactly where you're supposed to be. When you have delved into something that you are so passionate about that you can't imagine doing anything else. You don't know what that is? Well, neither do I. So, this is the time in our lives for us to put ourselves out there. Find what intrigues us, find what inspires us, and take all the time we need to do it. Parents, teachers, family, and friends, we're standing before you on one of the most exciting days of our lives. It's also one of the scariest. And you've been here. You felt the restlessness and the adrenaline and the irresistible craving for independence. If you're here, you've touched our lives. You've been a source of encouragement when our spirits were down and alleviated our stresses when we were overwhelmed. You cut us slack when you knew we needed it. And you gave us tough love when you knew we needed that too. You believed in us. You believe in us. And look at us now. We made it to our high school graduation. So to all of you, thank you. Because really, we wouldn't be here without you. 5 months ago, I heard a story from a speaker named Drew Dudley, and it stayed with me, so I would like to share it with you. On Drew's graduation day from Mount Allison University, a girl walked up to him and said, "I remember the first day that I met you." Years earlier, her first day on campus, waiting in the registration line, she had felt ready to pack up her bags and just go home. Then Drew came out of nowhere carrying a big sign and a bucket full of lollipops. Drew stopped in front of the guy standing next to her, held out a lollipop, and said, "You need to give a lollipop to the beautiful woman standing next to you." The guy just awkwardly passed it over, and she took it. And as soon as she did so, he turned to her mom and dad and said, "Look at that. Look at that. First day away from home and already she's taking candy from a stranger." Everyone lost it and started laughing. And in that moment, she knew that she shouldn't quit. And she knew that she was exactly where she was supposed to be. And before she left, she said to Drew, "I haven't spoken to you once in the 4 years since that day. But I heard you were leaving. And so I wanted to come up to you and say that you have been an incredibly important person in my life. And I'm going to miss you. You should probably know this too. 4 years later, I'm still dating that guy." A lollipop moment. The idea that a single person can make such a significant impact on our lives and not even realize it. I want us, the graduating class of 2013, to look back on these past 5 years and reflect on how we got here. What people and experiences have acted as catalysts in our lives? What lollipop moments are we grateful for? And I want us to challenge ourselves today, after we leave this theater, to tell that person the impact that they've had in our lives. Thank them. Acknowledge the impact that someone else has had on you. and walk away with the understanding that you have and will continue to have an impact on the lives of other people. Now, as we move on from today, as the paths we take no longer cross the hallways of King George, it's bound to hit us. This is the end of something significant. It's the end of seeing each other every day in the hallways, scribbling messages on locker cards, and taking the back corner of the bleachers during an assembly. It's the end of those crystal clear morning announcements and lunches spent exploring Denman for something new to eat. We've spent 5 years on the field playing softball, in the foyer promoting bake sales, acting in school plays, preparing for gala, getting hyped up for ping pong tournaments, and cheering on our basketball boys to provincials twice. So grad class of 2013, take this moment to appreciate the little things that gave you unforgettable memories. What made King George feel like a second home. Like catching an elevator ride with whoever's on crutches this week. Trying to break into the school when Wendell walks you out after 4. And knowing what it really means when Miss Gray's English class has a sub. Things like panicking over Facebook on a Sunday night because you can't figure out if Monday is a day 1 or day 2. Spending your silent reading period reading off your cell phone. And constantly reminding strangers that King George is not in Surrey. Remember the feeling of pure triumph when the bench returned after countless free the bench campaigns. And then remember when they took it back again. Remember the PE trips that got you out of class. The elective periods, biology labs that made you want to stay in them. The soccer games you actually won. Your first school dance. And of course, the infamous KG walk. Don't be too quick to forget this place, because you will never feel exactly like this again. So, here's to the memories of KG that we'll never forget. The lollipop moments and lollipop people that got us here. And here's to an uncertain future and all the possibilities that come with it. Congratulations, guys. We made it.
Thank you, Rita. Thank you for expressing your words with such emotion and sincerity. I know your speech will be remembered for a long time. So once again, thank you. I will now return the podium to Mr. Weeb for his closing remarks. Thank you.